Okay, I don't know how well this will work, but we'll try it. This is a test on the glow materials for the pathway, the sand and pigment mix that we got. It glows green. This is, somewhere between 2.5 and maybe 3 hours after sunset tonight. The material was placed yesterday afternoon late and allowed to sit in the sun all day. This is one of the markers across the path I put by a driveway. Here's the other side coming up right there. And this is fairly representative of what it looks like. There happens to be a car driving in right now, so it's lighting things up nicely. I'm not going to worry too much about the focus because it's not how well it's focused that matters, it's how well is the material performing. So that was one of the solid sets where I tried to make lines or dots. The next feature, which is a little ways down here, what I tried to do is spread the material out as just a thin, not even a coating, but dusting on the surface of the pathway, hoping that the fine-grained sand material will settle into the crevices and crags and cracks of the pathway, allowing it to stay put better during wind events or people walking on it. So right here, I can just barely start to make out where it is with my eyes, but I don't see it on the back of the camera yet. And of course, get blinded. Alright, right now I'm about 8 or 9 feet away from it. And in the back of the camera, I can just barely make out some of the lighter areas of it. It's definitely not as bright as I can see it, but it just, the patch looks kind of like, I think maybe the way paint looks when it's been spilt on a road and then washed off fairly quickly, but it just kind of settled in some of the cracks and crevices just a little bit, so not bad. And of course, just for reference sake, there is a fairly bright moon tonight. It's about 2/3 to 3/4 full. Alright, coming up on the next set, I can just barely make it out with my eyes. I can't see it in the camera, but it's basically like dashes in the center line of the road for the path, basically. There we go, now you can start to see them. Just 4 dashes. Worked out pretty decently. Alright, coming up on the right hand side here, the ground drops away fairly quickly. In fact, there's actually, on the edge of the path, it's kind of a steep drop. And I can just make it out right there and right there in the camera. I put a series of just some dots every about 9 feet or so, just to see what that would look like as delineating the edge of the pathway. Now this, of course, is again the sand material, which in my testing last night, as much as almost 8 hours later after sunset, the sand was still glowing much more strongly than the chips were glowing. And I think that's due because of the fact that when you look at it, the sand material seems to have a stronger pigmentation to it than the chips do. So it probably has more of the reactive material in it. Here is the final set of items. Just pathway delineations on the side. So one edge is marked there, the other edge is marked there. For reference, same material in a Ziploc baggie. I'm just going to toss it out there. It's been sitting in the sun all day, and you can see how strong that glows. And yeah, that focus is really, really lousy. There we go. Now that I have a free hand. The lines. And just kind of reference what it looks like, which is fairly close to what my vision looks like. So, like I said, I hope this works.